The Salle University Communication Advisory Board proudly presents Night of the Shining Stars, honoring Sid MacLeod. With the stars, Sidney J. Burgoyne, Dr. Joseph Chicala, Tony Costandino, Maureen McCrane Corson, Patrick Ronan, Tom Dignam, Ralph Garnin, Emily MacLeod, Mary MacLeod, Eileen Matthews, Mike Matthews, Kate McCauley, James McCrane, and Therese Zaccagnino. With special messages from Dr. James Butler, Dr. Marianne Dayton, Professor Tanya Ellis, Dr. John Giannini, Dr. Richard Goodcoop, Brother Michael McGinnis, Brother Jerry Molyneux, Dr. John Reardon, Dr. John Sweeter, Dr. Lynn Texter, and Professor Bill Wine. And now, the Chair of the Communication Advisory Board, Eileen Matthews.
Welcome everyone to this exciting evening. I am Eileen Matthews, Chair of the LaSalle Communication Advisory Board. And tonight, we honor our Shining Star recipient, Sid MacLeod, with a musical tribute.
That somehow we trust. I know it may embarrass you to hear me say it, but say it I must, say it I must. You have the cool, clear eyes of a secret wisdom and truth. Yet there's that upturned chin and that grin of impetuous youth. We believe in you. Yes, we believe in you. To see those cool, clear eyes of a teacher of wisdom and truth. Yet there's that slam, bang, tang, reminiscent of gin and vermouth, like a McCain's Smiths. We believe in you. Yes, we believe in
One of Sid's actors and students, class of 1975, Tony Costandino.
Thank you. And welcome to the Shining Star Award ceremony. I had the pleasure of working with Sid back in the early to mid-70s in a lot of mass and music theater productions. Tonight we're here to honor the legendary Sid MacLeod. Celebrating nearly 50 years at LaSalle, Sid's seen a lot in those hallowed halls for 5 decades, and so please sit back, relax, and enjoy the life and times of our shining star.
Welcome to the world according to Sid. Sidney James MacLeod Jr. was born on June 20, 1933, into a world where people who don't know any better actually worship White Sox, Cubs, Bulls, and Da Bears. Living with his parents, Sidney and Mary, and his sisters in Chicago, Sid couldn't help but end up on the stage.
The first things that I can remember about being interested in something that had to do with the stage or with the theater was my sisters, or maybe not both of them, but one of them was in a dancing school on Phillips Avenue in the 75th Street in Phillips in Chicago. And I remember I was a teddy bear and did some kind of step that I don't remember ever. You get in there and all of a sudden you walk on a stage and then there's some kind of reaction and you say, oh, hey, I think this is something that I like. And, you know, then you go on and try to pursue it maybe, or go continue it maybe. And maybe it turns out all right.
All right, huh? And then some. Bit by the acting bug, Sid devoured the footlights like a bum scarfing down a bologna sandwich. In 1957, he graduated from Catholic University and was ready to go on tour with his show. But, as the proverb says, if you want to make God laugh, make a plan. Sure enough, Uncle Sam had other plans for him. 2 years later, Dan Rodden beckoned, and Sid began his career teaching speech and serving as the technical director and director for the Mask and Glorious Music Theater.
Students and actors are here tonight to honor you. I'm very proud to present Pat Cronin. Pat is currently the chair of the theater department at the East Tennessee State University. You directed Pat in, sorry, we don't have a teleprompter, so I gotta use a blue card. You directed him in Death of a Salesman and a play called The Bespoke Overcoat. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick J. Cronin.
Well, who's going to cry more, Sid? You? Well, I had several ways to start this. I thought the best way was by channeling Dan Rodden. Sid, you idiot. You've cast Pat Cronin in Death of a Salesman. Dan Rodden was Nixon long before Nixon. So, I've been thinking a lot about what this means to me, Sid, and you were always so quiet. And then suddenly when I thought about coming here, you were really as much of an influence in my career in life and so many others as Dan, because you showed us that theater wasn't just Guys and Dolls in Oklahoma and South Pacific, it was also Death of a Salesman. And it was a wonderful little play that was your first directing job at Salle, The Bespoke Overcoat. It's a play that nobody knows but Sid. And he brought it to us. And it's based on a Gogol short story about a Jewish guy who comes back from the dead because life owes him at least a coat. So Sidney, in his infinite wisdom, took this wonderful play about two old Jewish guys, cast an 18-year-old Mick and a 19-year-old German. And Sid, I know if Ray Penzel were alive tonight, he would be here. So I'd like to channel Ray as well and give you and our audience of friends two of those moments from your very first play at LaSalle. And it opened with Ray came forward and said, "Fender dead. That old man Fender dead. Funny thing, he used to say, you're a good tailor. No, you're a good tailor. He says, ask anyone. They will tell you, Maury is a #1 tailor. He says, look at this coat. I said, what? That old rag, 20 years old, falling off says, this coat, you made me this coat 22 years ago. I come to you, I asked for a coat, this is him. I still got him. He's right. I'm a good tailor. Now I fall in. He says, how much to mend this coat? I said, well, it's a rag. I can do nothing with that. I can take some canvas lining. I could make you a pair of trousers. You walk up Salle Road. No one tells you from the Prince of Wales. What the union says, no miracles. Take that rag somewhere else. I got my clients to think of. Madam, I've got a bolt of worsted here. Sir, I could make you a suit length. You client. Fender dead. That old man, he sat in that cold warehouse every day. Who could have mended such a coat? Enough. Stop the nagging. And then Sid went to me and Fender, trying to ask for what was his. I told him, polite but strong, Mr. Ranting, I have been with this company, with your father, your uncle, all these years. I've done the same job. Nobody complains. Suddenly business is so bad, you got to give me the sack. No, what I want to know is why. Let him answer me that. Excuses. Anyone can find excuses, but I ask you, Mr. Ranting, is it right? That's what I should have said to him. The governor gives me the sack. Little boy, I used to give him my handkerchief to wipe his nose. Running around the warehouse with his stockings down, he gives me the sack. He says, Fender, you got something put by an insurance policy? So I got something put by. You got no family. You got no one. I got family. I got friends. I even have a niece with a boarding house in Clacton. And can she cook? Lovely weather the whole time. Mind you, Maury is a good friend. Tomorrow I go to Maury and I put on my new coat and I will go to Mr. Ranting and I will tell him, Mr. Ranting, you give me that coat with the sheepskin. It goes through you like a bowl of soup. It comes up through you like a flying jacket. There she goes. 17 dozen celluloid collars. Celluloid makes with C, no S. Or is it S? No C. Funny thing, I don't seem to know anything anymore. Tell you when they're not in narcissist mode. You don't get there without a director. When I was not 18 years old, 19 years old, and Sid, I had after night at the Salle helped me find the soul of those two dead Jewish brothers. It was a wonderful experience. But it's a bit of a downer here. So I decided, you know, there was a lot of tragedy and comedy, and there was all those wonderful nights, and a lot of it was booze. Now, as you know, Sid, I had a little problem with drinking. Which is like saying the Titanic had a little problem with ice. Actually, I'm going to say this. When I graduated from LaSalle in '63, Brother Robert, Lord rest him, stood up there and said, "No, graduating, cum laude, Patrick Cronin. We never knew Pat Frank until one day we saw him sober." Last week, I chaired an AA meeting in Johnson City, Tennessee, and took a 33-year chip. And so that doesn't mean I don't remember the booze. This, Sid, is for you. Did you see my green snake? My little green snake? Was he hanging from the ceiling like a fly does? Did he brush away a tear and ask where I was? In his heart, he's such a friendly little cuss. Did you see the green man? And the tattooed Indian? Now did you know their names are Muck and Merkel? See, I know that 'cause I'm in the inner circle. I am one of them, and now you're one of us. Oh, the flying alligators are delightful. I would meet those little fellows in the hall, and when I was in my cups, they would lick my hands like pups. But the one I miss at twilight most of all is my little green snake. In this little blue tree, when my world gets kind of hazy, there's one question drives me crazy. When my little snake gets drunk, does he see me?
Without a doubt, one of Philadelphia's best actors. Our next performer appeared in LaSalle Music Theater productions, and she'll now sing Chanson from the musical The Baker's Wife. Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Marie McCrane DeCourcy.
Voyage, le monde fait The first time I met Sid MacLeod, I was interviewing here at LaSalle for the faculty position. And as part of my interview, we all were having lunch together. The faculty at that time was small, and we were having a nice lunch. And as I was trying to schmooze everyone and talk to everyone and be my most persuasive self, I noticed that Sid wasn't talking with me at all. And I couldn't figure out why until partway through the lunch I realized he had an earphone in his ear, and he was listening to the LaSalle basketball game through the entire interview lunch. And it was at that point I realized two things. One is Sid is very dedicated to LaSalle and his LaSalle basketball, and two, that it was the most quiet I would ever hear Sid be in all my years of knowing him.
He has no presumptions as to his role of professor. He talks to you as an equal, whether you are a young student or a senior, whatever. Sid makes you very comfortable. You immediately realize this guy is for real. What you see is what he is.
20-some years ago, he directed a semi-autobiographical play of mine called Deficit. And he walked in the first day of rehearsal. The cast was made up of some current LaSalle students at the time and an alumnus who came back to be in my play. And he walked in with a fully delineated notebook. He had the whole play deconstructed. He had it marked down. And he went on to direct not only a stupendous production of the play, but to teach me things about the play, give it values I didn't even know were in, and because it's semi-autobiographical, to teach me some things about my life I hadn't known till he put his stamp on it. And that was a tremendous highlight for me. So how can you describe Sid?
Loyal. Enthusiastic. Always enthusiastic.
Passionate.
Commitment and caring.
Adaptable, centered, and fun.
If there's one word that describes Sid MacLeod, it's generous.
I can probably count on one hand the number of men who have had a dramatic impact on my life, and he's certainly one of those five.
Now, there are some flaws in Sid that you have to live with. Like for 30 years now, I've been seeing, during the baseball season, people be up excited about the Phillies, and he'd be running around with a Chicago hat. It's very hard to live with. And then, there'd be signs of Sid's plans too. For example, one of the things that Mike Schweeder tipped me off about this, he said, you can always tell when Sid's going back to see his mom because he gets his beard trimmed, and his haircut. So mom will think he's still the son that she sent east to the Catholic University.
He's sensational. How many people can you say that about? And Sid's dedication to his family and to LaSalle go hand in hand. Without the support of his wife, Mary Jane, and his children, Sydney, Brad, Mary, and John, Sid would not have been able to be there for the faculty and students over these past 48 years. The LaSalle family thanks them for their love and sacrifice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sid's daughter, Mary, could not be here tonight. She's the assistant stage manager in New York for a show called Deuce, starring Angela Lansbury. However, we're pleased to present Mary on screen dancing to Stravinsky's A Soldier's Tale. Here to read a letter from Mary to her dad is Sid's granddaughter, Emily MacLeod.
My dad has been such a source of inspiration, knowledge, kookiness, fun, and love for as long as I can remember. Whether embarrassing me endlessly by tap dancing down the aisles of the grocery store while pushing the cart, or painstakingly dissecting just about any theatrical production, movie, or television show, he always does so with unmatched enthusiasm, commitment, and passion. I never tire of and am continually inspired by his puckish spirit, unfailing work ethic, huge heart, and infectious eccentricity. He has exposed me to so much, but the most profound thing he ever taught me he shared with me rather recently, and it happens to be quite simple. He said to me, "My parents taught me that the most important thing in life is to be a good person and to treat other people as best you can. I will continue to strive for this in my own life. Thank you, Dad, for being a most true example of this. I am so proud of you and I love you. Your daughter, Mary Delphine."
pleasure to introduce two of Sid's students and performers and two of my LaSalle cohorts, Kate McCauley and Sidney J. Burgoyne. Sid, you directed Kate in a Rogers and Hart review, and you directed Sidney in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Tonight they will perform You're Just in Love from Call Me Madam.
Blossoms and the trees are bare. All day long I seem to walk on air. I wonder why. I wonder why. I keep tossing in my sleep at night, and once more I lost my appetite. Stars that used to twinkle in the skies, twinkling in my eyes. I wonder why.
You don't need analyzing. It is not so surprising that you feel very strange, but nice. Your heart goes pitter-patter. I know just what's the matter, because I've been there once or twice. With your head on my shoulder, you need someone who's older, a rub down with a velvet glove. There's nothing you can change to relieve that pleasant ache. You're not sick, you're just in love. Analyzing, it is not so surprising that you feel very strange, but nice. Your heart goes pitter-patter. I don't know because I've been there once or twice. Your head on my sleeve, someone older, from down there is nothing you can take to relieve that pleasant ache.
I'm not sick.
I was overcome by that. I'm not even sure where we are. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have to find the card here somewhere. Yeah. In 1985, Sid directed Pippin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome two of his stars of that show, Ralph Garman and Tom Dingley.
Join us, leave your gifts to flower. Join us, leave your cheese to sour. Join us, come and waste an hour or two. Doodly-doo, journey through a spider.
for the past 5 decades, Sid has made his own magic starring in his own life story. And with each new decade, the leading man took on a whole new look.
I've seen the many masks of Mr. MacLeod, and you know, sometimes it's the clean-shaven, the neat, the young star of Broadway or something like that, and other times it's sort of like the Ayatollah Sid, you know, with a huge unruly beard and, you know, fierce looks and things like that. But you know, the thing is, the appearance changed, but the guy doesn't.
I know. I don't know. It's so funny. I have no idea why I do the things I do.
Sid, the first thing I'd like to say is congratulations on your getting the Shining Star Award. It's well deserved. I think anybody who knows you and has known you throughout your long association with LaSalle would say that you are indeed a star here and practically anywhere you would light down. So congratulations, and I say that just as a colleague and also as the person who's lucky enough to be the president when you're being honored.
Congratulations, Sid, on almost 50 years at LaSalle. We hope to have you here for another 50.
Congratulations, Sid. I want you to know that I have forgiven you for that film we made of Charles Wilson Peele where you told me just stretch down in that hillside among the vegetation and hold up the cue card. It was about 10 years ago. I've now recovered from the poison ivy, but the film was worth it. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sid, on your almost 50th anniversary.
Sid, congratulations on your Shining Star Award. But I have to tell you something, Sid. I can only deliver you one message. And remember, there are no rules.
Congratulations, Sid, and thank you for everything you've done for me, our program, and for LaSalle.
Sid, congratulations. I am privileged to know you for so many years. You are a special human being. God bless you.
Sid, congratulations on your almost 50th. I'll be here for your 50th, and then I'm back for your 80th, and then again at your 100th. Have a great night. You deserve it.
Sid, congratulations on this richly deserved honor. You mean so much to us. You have been involved since the beginning and before with our department, and we know that you are the most loyal, most dedicated, most loving and caring person. Thank you very much for everything.
Sid, I don't know how you've done it for this long. You're a role model for almost everybody on campus, and I can only hope that you'll be here for another 50 because the people that here then will need you just as much as they need you now.
My own favorite moment here was the day that the brothers made Sid MacLeod an honorary Christian brother. So tonight, just let me say, here's to you, my colleague, my confrere, my pal, my coach. Thanks, Sid.
Isn't he warm? Isn't he rosy?
He's such a cutie. Isn't he a cutie?
Our Sid, put in a storm, comfy and cozy. Sid, our Sid, I envy that. Our Sid. Everything shines.
How sweet. We're just so fond of him.
Our Sid, how are the lines? Who beats
like Sid teaches us the tough stuff and he teaches us the easy stuff. I'll learn the easy stuff, but I really like the tough stuff.
Teaching the kids as well as the sinners.
Let me make him a drink. He's the only guy I know I feel should drink.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the chair of the Communications Department, Lynn Texter.
What would we do without him? The other day, just not because of this event, but I was thinking to myself, what would we do without him? He inspired so many of us. And he, when I first came to Salle, I really didn't know what he did. And then I realized it's because he does everything. And now, as chair, I have the privilege of having an experience that Jerry had, which is I don't ever have to ask Sid to do something because he just does it, and then the rest of us don't even have to think about it. So many of us, when we do something, we're like, hey, look what I just did. Notice me. Reward me. Include me. And Sid just doesn't. And when I think he's been doing it longer than I've been alive, I don't know whether to feel good about that or not. I remember when I first came to LaSalle, and they had a 40-year dinner for the number of faculty who had been there for more than 40 years. And I was astonished that they had to have 2 dinners one year because there were so many people. But nobody has had the kind of impact on our department and on the people in this room and on so many people who couldn't be here tonight as Sid. 48 years of making a difference in all of our lives. What we're doing tonight is honoring Sid, but we're also, as you know, we're starting an endowment fund in his name. And it's our goal that we want to have $50,000 to award for Sid's 50th year. That's a big goal. As you've heard us talk about in other events or you've heard from other places, it's a lot of money for a fairly modest-sized department. But with the number of the people who called us and emailed us, the number of people who care about Sid, I know we're going to get that money. We're going to be able to award a scholarship. So we're going to be able to do a lot of things for the next 50 years for this department. And everyone jokingly said, I hope Sid's still around.
I hope he's around as long as I am, because I really don't know what we would do without him. He is LaSalle to me. You know, I think that a couple years ago we honored Jerry, and Jerry's our rock. I think Sid's our heart. And so I honor, on behalf of my colleagues, on behalf of the alum, on behalf of all the people who couldn't be here tonight, our colleague, our friend, Sidney J. MacLeod, our shining star.
Thanks for the memory of almost 50 years. Some laughter and yes, some tears. Time's passed, so you may ask, will I be shifting gears to neutral or part? I give thanks to that broad man. He brought me from Chi-Town to a campus of renown, where Lola played, and so I stayed for another championship round. It's been 53 years. Speech was the first thing I taught here, because that was why I was brought here. The students said, what have God brought here? This Midwest kid whose name is Sid, and I was a theater guy, doing sets and lights and tech, and later on direct. From our Mastro's music theater rows, or so I recollect, a summer success. I must thank the turn of fate. Rich Hawley in AV got video gear, and we built studios, made videos on tape, now DVD. I miss him a lot. Then thanks to those 80 guys, Bob Vogel led the team in only 119, and the Sweeter boys with all those toys and every new machine. I thank them so much. First, there were media classes, and boy, how the time really passes. Soon we were teaching the masses in only